Yeah, 1 second. So, like I said, we'll definitely end by 5:45. Or for those of you who don't know what that means, where you are, it means a quarter to the next hour. So it'll be a little shorter than normal. Okay, spotlight. Okay, so we're gonna play the guitar for a second, just a very short kirtan or bhajan, whatever you may call it. Okay, this is good background. I should do numbers. Radhe, Radhe, go. Whoops. Change the sound so you got better. Radhe, Radhe, Govinda. Govinda, Radhe, 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 Govinda, Govinda, Radhe, 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 Govinda, Govinda, Radhe, 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 Govinda, Radhe, 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 Govinda, Radhe, 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 Govinda, Govinda, Radhe, Radhe, Govinda, Radhe, 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 Govinda, Govinda, Radhe, 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 Govinda, Govinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare, Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare, Rama Rama, Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Acharya, also Teta Satashi Shimad, His Divine Grace Abhaya. Chananada Bhaktivedanta Goswami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Anantakoti Vaishnav, Vrinda Ki Jai, Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Ravanachnanda Shidwaita Gadadha, Shiva Siddhi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Radhakrishna Gopikapanath, Shyam Kund Radhakunda. Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Vrindavanam Ki Jai, Bachurnam Ki Jai, Bhagavataswami Ki Jai, Yamunamai Ki Jai, Shimati Lasi Devi Ki Jai, Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Go. All glories the assembled devotees, all glories the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaur Premananda. Ma'am Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Chari. Nirvashesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Teja Tarane. Somagana Timidanda Shagana Chanasha Chakshuran Meditam. Yena Tasmai. She Guruveda Maha. So I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual masters, Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. So we're going to continue with our study of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. As I mentioned before, I have to end in about 35 minutes because I have a program tonight which hopefully I'll be broadcasting. I'll bring my computer to it so we can broadcast. It's about Prabhupada's 50th anniversary of appearance in Gainesville, Florida. And we'll see everybody on that. So anyway, let us share the screen right now. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. So we are reading from the 9th chapter of the Vaja Leela, which details Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's traveling in South India. Yesterday, we read about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chastising the Buddhists who had offended him, but actually converting them all to Krishna consciousness afterwards by forcing them to chant the Lord's holy name to revive their guru. So Lord Chaitanya employed many tricks in getting people to chant. If one chants, then that's it. Their material life is spoiled. I have to warn you about that. If you chant the holy name, your material life will be spoiled. You may even have a guru who preaches renunciation to you and harasses you, and then you can never forget what he says about you're not the body, your body's just a lump of pus mucus. And you're... So anyway, so on that happy note, we're going to start with text 70 of the 9th chapter of the Madhya Leela of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So prema veshendra chakita bahuta karila dina dvirahi loke Krishna bhakta kaila. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed at Vishnu Kanchi for 2 days, he danced and performed kirtan and ecstasy. When all the people saw him, they were converted into devotees of Lord Krishna. And as I mentioned before, Kanchipuram has 2 parts, Vishnu Kanchi and Shiva Kanchi, and the devotees of Shiva Kanchi are obviously devotees of Lord Shiva, and the devotees of Vishnu Kanchi are obviously devotees of Lord Vishnu, and they fight with each other continually. But who is God? We know Vishnu is God, and Lord Shiva is his servant, Vaishnavadam, Yata Shambhu. So, Trimalaya Deki Gela, Trikalahasti Stane, Mahadeva Deki Tanre, Karila Praname. After visiting Trimalaya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to see Trikalahasti. There he saw Lord Shiva and offered him all respects and obeisances. Trikalahasti or Sri Kalahasti is situated about 22 miles east of Tirupati. I've been there, actually. On its western side is a river known as the Suvarna, Golden Mouth, Suvarnamukhi. Wow. The temple of Sri Kalahasti is located on the southern side of the river. The place is generally known as Sri Kalahasti or Kalahasti and is famous for its temple, Lord Shiva. Therefore, there he is called Vayu Linga Shiva. That means the wind, the Linga Shiva. Pakshi Tirtha Dekhi Kaila Shiva Darashana Ridakola Tirtha Karila Gampana. At Pakshi Tirtha, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited the temple of Lord Shiva. Then he went to Vidrakola, place of pilgrimage. Actually, this is the story I told before. Pakshi Tirtha is also called Tirukadi Kundam and is located 9 miles southeast of Chimli Pot. It has a 500-foot elevation and is situated in a chain of hills known as Vedagiri or Vedachalam. There's a temple of Lord Shiva there, and the deity is known as Vedagirishvara, the controller of the mountain. Two birds come there daily to receive food from the temple priest, and it is claimed that they have been coming since time immemorial. And actually, one bird is white, one bird is black. Shvetavaraha Deki, Tanre Namaskari, Pitambara Shivasdane, Gila Gorahari. At Vritakola, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited the temple of Shvetavaraha, the white boar incarnation. After offering him respects, the Lord visited the temple of Lord Shiva, wherein the deity is dressed with yellow garments. The temple of the white boar incarnation is situated at Ridha-Kola or Sri Mushnam. The temple is made of stone and is located about 1 mile south of an oasis known as Balipitam. There is a deity of the white boar incarnation above whose head Seshanag serves as an umbrella. The temple of Lord Shiva mentioned here is situated at Pitambara. Pitambara, yellow dress. Or Chidambaram, which lies 26 miles south of Chudalore. The deity of Lord Shiva there is known as Akashalinga. The temple is situated on about 39 acres of land, and all this land is surrounded by a wall and by a road that is about 60 feet wide. Shiali Vairavi Devi Karidarashana Kaverira Tirehaila Sachiranandana. After visiting the temple of Shiali by Ravi, that is a form of the goddess Durga, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the son of Mother Sachi, went to the bank of the river The temple of Shiali Bhairavi is located in the Tanjore district about 48 miles northeast of Tanjore city. There is a very much celebrated temple of Lord Shiva there and also a very large lake. It is said that once a small boy who was a devotee of Lord Shiva came to that temple and the goddess Durga, known as Bhairavi, gave him her breast to suck. After visiting this temple, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the bank of the river Kavari, Kuligurana, via the district of Tiruchirappalli. The Kaveri is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.540 as a very pious river. Gosamaje Shivadeki, Vaila Vedavana, Mahadevadeki Tanre, Karila Vandana. The Lord then visited a place known as Gosamaja, where he saw Lord Shiva's temple. He then arrived at Vedavana, where he saw another deity of Lord Shiva and offered him prayers. So Gosamaja is a place of pilgrimage for the devotees of Lord Shiva. It is very important and is located near Vedavana. So, interestingly enough, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is serving and offering obeisances to Lord Shiva. This is very, very important because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing us the proper mood to worship Lord Shiva is as a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one should not blaspheme the devotees or blaspheme the demigods. One should actually serve them in the mood of their being devotees of the Lord. Amritalinga Shivadeki Vandana Karila Sapa Shivaliye Shaiva Vaishnava Pahila. Seeing the Shiva deity named Amrita Linga, nectar, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu offered his obeisances. Thus, he visited all the temples of Lord Shiva and converted the devotees of Lord Shiva into Vaishnavas. So he visited all the temples, respected Lord Shiva, and then made everybody a Vaishnava. Very interesting. Devastanayasi Kaila Vishnu Darashana Shri Vaishnavera Sanghe Tahan Goshti Anukshana. Hear an echo. At Devasthana, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited the temple of Lord Vishnu, and there he talked with the Vaishnavas in the disciplic succession of Ramanujacharya. These Vaishnavas are known as Sri Vaishnavas. That's the Lakshmi Sampradaya. Kumbhakarna Kapali Teki Sarovara Shiva Kshetre Shiva Teke Goranga Sundara. At Kumbhakarna Kapala, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw a great lake and then the holy place named Shiva Kshetra, where a temple of Lord Shiva is located. Kumbhakarna is the name of the brother of Ravan. At the present moment, the city of Kumbhakarna Kapala is known as Kumbakonam. It is situated 24 miles northeast of the city of Tanjore. There are 12 temples of Lord Shiva located at Kumbakonam, as well as 4 Vishnu temples and 1 temple of Lord Brahma. Shiva Kshetra within the city of Tanjore is situated near a big lake known as Shivaganga. At this place is a large temple of Lord Shiva known as Vrahatishvara Shiva Mandira. Papa Nashana Vishnu Kaila Darashana Shiranga Kshetre Tabe Karila Gamana. After visiting the holy place named Shiva Kshetra, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived at Papa Nasana, means getting rid of the sins, and there saw the temple of Lord Vishnu. Then he finally reached Sri Rangakshetra, where Lord Ranganath is. Purport. There are 2 holy places known as Papa Nasana. One is located 8 miles southwest of Kumbakonam, and the other lies near the river Tamraparni in the district of Tirunelveli, 20 miles west of the city of Tirunelveli, Palamokkota. Srirangam is a very famous place. It lies in the district of Tiruchirappalli, about 50 miles west of Kumbakonam, near the city of Tiruchirappalli on an island in the Kaveri River. The Srirangam temple is the largest in India, and there are 7 walls and 7 roads surrounding it. There are also 7 roads leading to Srirangam. The ancient names of these roads are the Road of Dharma, the Road of Raja Mahendra, the Road of Kulakshekara, the Road of Alinadana, the Road of Tiruvikrama, the Tirubidi Road of Madamali Gaisa, and the Road of Ada Iyavala in Dana. The temple was founded before the reign of Dharmavarma, who reigned before Raja Mahendra. Many celebrated kings like Kulakshekara and Yamunacharya Alabandhuru resided in the temple of Srirangam. Yamunacharya, Sri Ramanujacharya, Sudarshanacharya, and others also supervised this temple. The incarnation of the goddess of fortune, known as Gada Devi or Sri Andal, was one of the 12 Alvaras, liberated persons known as Divya Suris. She was married to the deity of Lord Sri Ranganath, and later she entered into the body of the Lord. So she was actually appeared in this world as a human being. It's not saying she was a conditioned soul. She was not. She was a liberated soul. But she's one of the 12 Alvaras. The Alvaras are actually the poets, the ancient poets in South India who made poetry about Lord Vishnu. And interestingly enough, let's see, well, someone asked me a question. I'll answer that question later about worshiping. Anyway, interestingly enough, she was a lady. And so many people say that ladies cannot be gurus or acharyas or anything like that. But this is in South India many, many, many years ago, and she was the leader of the Vaishnavas. And she married the deity of Lord Ranganath because she didn't want anything to do with ordinary pus and mucus men. And later she entered into the body of the Lord. An incarnation of Karnamukad named Tirumanga, also one of the Alvars, acquired some money by stealing and built the 4th boundary wall of Srirangam. There's a whole story about how Srirangam was built, and a lot of Srirangam was built by thieves. And there's some story that later on, not all the thieves, but the thieves who weren't devotees, were actually disposed of in an interesting way, which I'm not going to mention. They were drowned. It is said that in the year 289 of the age of Kali, the Alvar of the name Tondaradi was born. Year 289, that means, wow, about 5,000 years ago. Wow, they're really ancient. While engaged in devotional service, he fell victim to a prostitute. And Sri Ranganath, seeing his devotee so degraded, sent one of his servants with a golden plate to that prostitute. When the golden plate was discovered missing from the temple, there was a search and it was found in the prostitute's house. When the devotee saw Ranganath's mercy upon this prostitute, his mistake was rectified. He then prepared the 3rd boundary wall of the Ranganath temple and cultivated a Tulsi garden there. Wow. There was also a celebrated disciple of Ramanujacharya's known as Kuresha. Sri Rama Pillai was the son of Kuresha, and his son was Vagvijaya Bhatta, whose son was Vedavyasa Bhatta, or Sri Sudarshanacharya. When Sudarshanacharya was an old man, the Muslims attacked the temple of Ranganath and killed about 1,200 Sri Vaishnavas. Wow. At that time, the deity of Ranganath was transferred to the temple of Tirupati. I'll tell a story about that in a second. in the kingdom of Vijayanagara. The governor of Gingi, Gopanarya, brought Sri Ranganath from the temple of Tirupati to a place known as Singha Brahma, where the Lord was situated for 3 years. In the year 1293, Shaka, that's AD 1371, the deity was reinstalled in the Ranganath temple. On the eastern wall of the Ranganath temple is an inscription written by Vedanta Deshika, relating how Ranganath was returned to the temple. So it's a very interesting story that I didn't tell before about the temple of Tirupati, and as you hear here, the deity of Ranganath was actually kept safely there. And of course, the Balaji was always there, and he was safe, and other deities such as Varahadev were safe. Now, there's a reason for that. The reason for that is the Muslims had planned on attacking the temple in Srirangam. I mean, in Tirupati, Tirumala, actually, in Tirumala. And as we explained before, Tirumala is situated on a hill. So the Muslims would have no problem climbing a hill. Pretty easy for them. So what happened is that some of the Hindus had a very interesting idea how to defend the temple in Tirumala, the temple of Balaji, and also Ranganath was also there. And they told the Muslims, there's a problem going up there. And the Muslims said, what's our problem? We are tough. We are fighters. We want to get rid of all these deities. So what happened? Pretty interesting. They said, well, the problem is they worship a pig up there. And the Muslims, when they heard pig, they ran away. But somehow or other, they don't like being around pigs. So if you ever want to defend your temple from attacks, you keep some pigs around the temple. So anyway, and that pig wasn't pig, was a boar that was Lord Varaha. Okay. And that's why the Muslims never attacked Tirupati. Kavarite snanakari deki ranganatha stuti pranati kari manila kritarta. After bathing in the river Kavari, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the temple of Ranganath and offered his ardent prayers and obeisances. Thus he felt himself successful. Prema Veshe Kaila Vahuta Gananartana Deki Jamatkara Haila Sabaloke Ramana. Whoops. So many messages. I should answer these messages. I have to read this verse. In the temple of Ranganath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted and danced in ecstatic love of Godhead. Seeing his performance, everyone was struck with wonder. Okay, question. So, first one. How is it indicated that Mahaprabhu was worshiping Lord Shiva as a devotee of Vishnu? So, wait a minute. So many people just say that. It's hard for me to page chat window. Let's get to that. So many people just say that Shiva and Vishnu worship each other as equals. For instance, they say Ram worships Shiva as God. Gurudev, were these Shiva temples worship proceeded? Oh, that's another question. Actually, Lord Ram is showing us he didn't worship Shiva as God, but there is an interesting story, and this is mainly in the Tulsidas Ramayana, not the Valmiki Ramayana, about where Lord Ram worshipped Shiva as God. But actually, in the Valmiki Ramayana, you don't have that story. You have him worshiping Lord Shiva, but not Lord Shiva as God. So there's quite a bit of difference, and not to offend any of you, but Prabhupada did say in the Valmiki, in the Tulsidas Ramayana, there is a touch or a tinge or a partial indication of Mayavad philosophy. So I'm not going to Take the Tulsidas Ramayana as authoritative, although it's a very beautiful work. Tulsidas was a great devotee, but there was a tinge of Mayavad philosophy there. And the Valmiki Ramayana simply has Lord Ram worshiping Shiva. In the same way, we had Lord Ram worshiping the ocean, to want to cross the ocean too. And the ocean didn't respond to him. He got ready to dry up the ocean, and then the ocean said, you could construct a bridge over me by having your name written on each and every stone, and the stones float. So Lord Ram is showing us that we should respect Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva is a great devotee. Just like we respect His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And if Krishna were to come down today and there was a temple to Prabhupada, Krishna would respect Prabhupada to show us an example. So here's a question from Gurudev. Were these Shiva temples worship procedure worthy? Bad English. Were these Shiva temples worship procedure was well. She's asking, were the worship procedures? Let me correct her English. Bona fide that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited. I don't know. It says Vaishnavas worship Digpalas and Shiva as a devotee. And however we read, Jyotirlinga, the 12 Jyotirlingas, had Shiva already residing in Shiva Linga. Residing, not reciting. English lessons. All right, so was the worship bona fide in those temples? I don't know. I haven't visited those temples. So, but yes, the Vaishnavas worship Digpalas, the guardians of the holy dhams, and we worship Lord Shiva as a devotee, and Lord Shiva does reside in the Shiva Linga. The Shiva Linga indicates that Lord Shiva is actually our father. As the Linga and the Yoni, which indicates Durga is our mother and Lord Shiva is our father. Not in the same way that Krishna says in the Gita, Aham Bija Pradapita, that Krishna is the father or seed-giving father for everybody. But Lord Shiva is the father in the sense that Krishna, at the time, or Mahavishnu at the time of the creation, glanced at the pradhana, or the unmanifest stage of the material energy, and implanted all of us through his glance. And that glance was known as Shambhu, and Shambhu Shiva consorted with Maya or Durga, and that's how we were born in material energy. Not the soul was born, but the soul was planted within the bodies were formed. That's how we came to be in the material energy, by the mercy of Lord Shiva, ultimately by the mercy of Lord Vishnu's glance. In the temple of Ranganatha, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chanted and danced in ecstatic love of God. Had seen his performance, everyone was struck with wonder. Sri Vaishnava Heka Venkatapatta Nama Prabhure Nimantrana Koila Kariya Samana. A Vaishnava known as Venkatapatta then invited Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home with great respect. Okay. Sri Venkatapatta was a Vaishnava Brahmin, an inhabitant of Sri Rangakshetra. He belonged to the disciplic succession of Sri Ramanujacharya. Sri Rangam is one of the places of pilgrimage in the province of Tamil Nadu. It's a state in India. The inhabitants of that province do not retain the name Venkata. It is therefore supposed that Venkatavata did not belong to that province, although he may have been residing there for a very long time. Venkatapata was in a branch of the Ramanuja Sampradaya known as Varagalai. He had a brother in the Ramanuja Sampradaya known as Sripad Prabhupananda Saraswati. The son of Venkatapata was later known in the Gaudiya Sampradaya as Gopal Goswami, and he established the Radharaman temple in Vrindavan. More information about him may be found in a book known as the Bhakti Ratnaka by Narahari Chakravarti. So we're going to hear more about Venkatapata and his family and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's interactions with Venkatapata and his family. Nijagare lanakaila pada prakshalana se jalalana kaila savam shevakshana. Shri Venkatapata took Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his home. After he washed the Lord's feet, all the members of his family drank the water. Wish I could. Bhiksha karana kichu kaila nivedana chaturmasha asi prabhu haila upasana. After offering lunch to the Lord, Venkatapata submitted that the period of Chaturmasha had already arrived. Interestingly enough, Lord Chaitanya was not fasting for Chaturmasha, because he ate during Chaturmasha. Chaturmashe kripakari raha mora gare Krishna kata kahi kripaya udarahamare. Venkatapata said, "Please be merciful to me and stay at my house during Chaturmasha. Speak about Lord Krishna's pastimes and kindly deliver me by your mercy." Tanragare rahila Prabhu Krishna Katara se Matasange Gunaela Sukhe Charima se. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu remained at the house of Venkatapata for 4 continuous months. The Lord passed his days in great happiness, enjoying the transcendental meal of discussing Lord Krishna's pastimes. Kaveri te snanakari shiranga darshana pratidina prema veshe karina nartana. While there, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took his bath in the river Kaveri and visited the temple of Shiranga. Every day the Lord also danced in ecstasy. Saundaryari Premavesha Deki Sarvalokha Deki Vari Se Deki Kande Duka Shoka. The beauty of Lord Chaitanya's body and his ecstatic love of God were witnessed by everyone. Many people used to come see him, and as soon as they saw him, all their unhappiness and distress vanished. Laksha laksha loka aela nana desha hite sabe Krishna namakahi prabhu ke dekite. Many hundreds of thousands of people from various countries came to see the Lord, and after seeing him, they all chanted Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Krishna nama vina kaya nahi kahi hara sabhi Krishna bhakta haila loke chamatkara. Indeed, they did not chant anything but the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and all of them became Lord Krishna's devotees. Thus the general populace was astonished. Shirangakshetre Vaisayata Vaishnava Brahmana Eka Eka Dina Sabe Kaila Nimantrana. All the Vaishnava Brahmanas residing in Shriranga, etc., invited the Lord to their homes. Indeed, he had an invitation every day. So, see. Eka Eka Dina Chatamasha Purna Haila Kataka Brahmana Bhiksha Ditena Paila. Each day the Lord was invited by different Brahmins, but some of the Brahmins did not get the opportunity to offer him lunch because the period of Chaturmasha came to an end. More proof that Chaitanya ate during Chaturmasha. So for those of you engaged in austerities, too bad. Austerities will not get you Krishna Prema, as stated by Jadabharata. And I hate to discourage you with this verse, where you think your austerities are going to get you Krishna Prema. Uganaita tapasana yatina chesya nirvapanad grahadva Chandasanaiva Jalagni Suryar Vana Chandasanaiva Janagni Sarvana Mahatpada Rajobhishek. That my dear King Rahugana, Jadbharta is saying, he's preaching to the king. Rahuganai tapasanayati. Tapasa means austerities. Of course, we do certain austerities. What austerity do we perform? Not fasting. We perform the austerity of accepting everything favorable, everything that pleases the spiritual master. And we reject everything unfavorable that displeases the spiritual master. That's the austerity. Tapasa nayati. But that particular austerity will give you Krishna consciousness, but simple austerities of the body do not get you Krishna conscious or make you Krishna conscious. Tapasa nayati, nor someone will become Krishna conscious by taking sannyas, nor by bathing in ice cubes in the middle of the winter, nor putting yourself in the middle of fire like many yogis do in the middle of the summer, nor by being a good grahasta. That's not to say you shouldn't be a good grahasta, but anyway. The only method is to please Krishna's devotee, or taking a bath. Literally, this verse says, taking a bath in the dust of the feet of Krishna's devotee, Mahat, a great devotee of the Lord. So that's the secret. Anyway, if you don't like that secret, then engage in austerities and whatever you want to do. But that's the secret, being dedicated to the lotus feet of a great devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and serving and always trying to please the great devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ain't no other way. Okay, it's almost time. Just one more verse, and then we will end for this evening because I have another program which we'll try to put online. Say Kshetre Rahayeka Vaishnava Brahmana Devalaya Sikare Gita Avartana. The place, in the holy place was Sriranga Kshetra. A Brahmana, Vaishnava, used to visit the temple daily and recite the entire text of the Bhagavad Gita. So we'll end here. Thank you very much. All glories to Prabhupada. Unfortunately, we don't have time for any questions because we have a program that we have to run to right now, which starts in about 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes, maybe Indian Standard Time, which makes it a little later. But in any case, we have to leave and go on the program. Thank you very much. We'll see everybody tomorrow at the same time, same station. Hopefully, we will have the full time to teach you about Krishna consciousness. All glories to His divine grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami